Hello, I'm Helen from Journal with Purpose and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my latest video. Today I'm going to share a really fun little project with you which is all going to be about creating this mini journal zine. They're really quick and easy to make and I thought it would be a fun little project to work on, especially if you're feeling like you're in a bit of a slump with your journaling. The pages in this are so tiny, so it's really easy to get started. And you're only going to need a couple of supplies for it, so I'm going to talk you through how to make the zine and then create a couple of pages as well. And I thought they'd make really lovely keepsakes for the future, but also they'd be great for popping in Happy Mail that you might be sharing with pen pals. So I really hope you enjoy the video and you have lots of fun with it. So to make our little journaling zine like this, the only supplies that you'll need are an A4 piece of paper and some scissors. I'm also going to be using a bone folding tool, but you could definitely just use your fingers for the creases or the edge of a ruler. And I'm also going to use a corner punch, but again that's entirely optional. So the first thing you want to do with your piece of paper is to fold it lengthways and just make sure those corners all meet up. I'm using a reasonably heavyweight paper. It's for a colour laser printer, which just means it's a bit firmer and will be able to hold up, I'm hoping, to some light ink pads. I'm not sure about watercolour, but at least some different pens. So we'll see how it holds up to those things. Once you've made that crease along there, you're going to open it back up and then fold in the other direction. And the neater you can get it, just the neater looking your journal zine will be, but don't worry if it's slightly off. Okay, and when you've got that crisp, you're going to open it back up again. And at this stage, just check you're happy with all of those folds. I give it one last go. Fold it back to this position so that you've got it on the horizontal fold, and now you're going to make another two folds. So you're going to fold this top one up, get it nice and crisp, fold it over, turn it over, and then fold this one back up in the same way. Once you've got that done, you're going to find that centre fold and open these two back out again. And we're now going to make a cut up here, but just to this centre fold. So that's that cut made. Now if you stand it up like this, so you've got your cut here, and you're just going to pull those apart. Fold that, so you've now got like a cross there, and then just fold it into a book. It doesn't matter which of the pages you fold at that point. Use your bone folding tool or finger to get that really nice and flat, and I'm just going to go across all of the edges again at this point. And that is your little zine made, and you can just leave it there if you like, but I'm also going to use my corner punch here because I just fancy having some rounded edges on this. Most of these supplies I've had for quite a long time, but I will have a look and see if I can find anything similar, and if I can, of course, I'll leave in linked in the description box down below, just in case you want to use the same tools. So I'm just doing this on all of the outer corners, but not on the spine itself, and I'll do the same at the bottom as well. I just thought this would be a really fun, quick and easy project to do a little bit of journaling about ourselves. So perhaps on days where we don't have loads we want to write, or a whole page seems a bit intimidating, I thought this would be quite fun to create a little record of our lives at the moment. So there you go, that's my mini journaling zine all ready. And now we'll move on to decorating the cover and perhaps journaling inside a few of the pages. To decorate the cover, I'm going to be using one of the sheets of paper from my trusty flow book for paper lovers. They are quite expensive to buy, but I've had two of these now for probably 2.5 years, and I find that they're lasting me such a long time, and they've got beautiful designs in them if you use lots of patterned papers. And they've also got all kinds of tags and stickers in them as well. And I wanted to go for a kind of soft vintagey feel, and I thought that this pattern paper would be perfect. To glue it onto my journal zine cover, I'm going to use some Pritt Stick. As this zine is so small and doesn't have that many pages, I'm not too worried about my cover being really heavy duty and having to stand up to knocks and bumps over months and months. So I'm just going to have fun and add some simple decoration. You can, of course, decorate your cover in any way you like, with stamping, stenciling, paint, stickers, depending on the type of paper you've used and what it will hold up to. And now I've pressed that cover firmly down, I'm going to trim around all of the edges. I had so much fun creating this, and I really enjoyed how quickly it came together. I think at the moment I'm just really enjoying small projects that I can really get absorbed into, but get that sense of satisfaction of being able to also complete it quite quickly. It helps to keep my mind really occupied. Now that I've got the main cover attached, I decided I wanted to add some extra decoration. So I pulled out some old book pages, and I really liked these floral designs. So I'm just going to carefully tear around one of them and then glue that on top of the patterned paper. I'm going to use this mini journal zine to document my life exactly as it is right now, and I thought it would be really interesting to perhaps do one of these every month and have a collection of 12 of them by the end of the year, and be able to see how some of those little things have changed, particularly at the moment when things feel a bit stagnant and samey. I really like looking out for some of those smaller things that are changing, so that I can see little bits of progress. I'm now using one of the stickers from the Tim Holtz sticker book, and the one that I've picked is Live Simply, Give Generously, and I really liked that and thought it would look perfect on the front cover. Once I finish the cover, I'm going to start adding details to some of my pages inside. And if you're interested, I'd be more than happy to film another part of this video. to give you ideas for some themes that I'm going to be covering inside my mini zines. So let me know what you think in the comments section down below. For the first page, I thought I'd do a little piece that was just about me. And I'm going to start off by decorating the pages using this distress ink in a tea dye colour and using an ink blending tool. So I'm just covering over the right hand page to make sure that none of the ink goes over there or onto the front of the cover. And I'm starting off by just adding that ink pad all the way around the outside. I also thought that something like this would be a really lovely place to record some of your favourite quotes, or even do some little mini art or doodling pieces. For me, with the pages being so small, I find them really inviting because I know that I can complete a page within a matter of a few minutes. And at the moment, that really appeals to me as a fun little project to work on. Once I've finished adding all of the ink to my page, I decided that I would add a photograph of myself and how I'm looking this month. I thought that would also be interesting to document over the different months, especially as I'm trying to eat really healthily, do more exercise and lose a little weight. And I printed off the photo using a Brother colour label printer. And I've been asked about this printer a few times, and I do have a video probably from a year or so ago, and I absolutely love it. You get lots of different size labels, so you can choose what size you want to print things out on, and it's on sticky back paper, which I absolutely love. So I'm mounting that photo onto an old book page, which again I'm going to tear out and glue onto my page. I was really lucky that I managed to get my hair cut just before Christmas, a couple of days before we went back into lockdown in the UK. So that's another reason I thought it might be interesting to document a monthly photo of myself, because depending on how long the hairdressers are closed for, I can imagine I might look quite different within a few months. Once I've glued my photo down, I'm going to write just a few lines about myself, and for this I'll be using a black Muji gel pen. I decided to write in a serif style font, and I really like this style of writing, but it does take quite a long time. But I figured this was the perfect place for it because I've only got space for a few lines. And that was another thing, I thought this would be a great little book for trying out different font styles. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I also think something like this would be really fun to include in some happy mail, where you could include some decorations and tell your pen pal a little about yourself. Once I'd finished adding the writing, I decided it looked a little strange having just that white piece of the page showing. So I'm gently dabbing some of the distress ink over the top of my writing, and fortunately it didn't smudge that gel pen. I was just really gentle with it. For my next page, I'm using this stencil from Folk Art. Again, I've had it for many years, but if I can find it, I'll definitely leave it linked down below. I love the pattern on this stencil. And the colour ink pad that I'm going to use for this page is Tattered Rose. I often get asked which journaling supplies I would recommend if I was just starting out, and I've got quite a few different Distress Oxide ink pads and stencils, and I've had them for years and they're still going really strong, so I think it's definitely one of the supplies I'd recommend, just because there's so many different ways to use them and you can get so many different effects. And the stencils, I always think, are really good value for money because you can just keep using them forever. So I'm using that ink blending tool to press the ink through the stencil all over my page to create a really pretty background. I was smiling the whole time I was working on this journal zine. I just found it so satisfying for some reason, working in something so tiny and knowing that I had those pages there documenting what is obviously a very strange time in our lives, but I think it will make a really lovely little keepsake for the future. I'm now going to add some extra decoration, and I'm using these transparent floral stickers from London Gifties. And I thought that tied in quite nicely as we're just moving into the spring, hopefully soonish in the UK. Some of the flowers are starting to come out. And that's another thing I'm hoping to document in these zines, is the changing in the seasons. I'm going to use this page to document some of my current favourite things, and I thought it would look quite interesting if I turned my book around and wrote in a different direction. So for my heading, I'm just going to write faves, and for this I'm using a Tombow Fudenosuke brush pen with a firm nib. For some of my current favourite things, I'm going to be writing things down like getting out into nature, watching lightweight crime dramas like Midsummer Murders, reading great books, listening to music, relaxing with my family, lots of creative projects, and also learning anything new. I've really enjoyed taking lots of online classes over the last few weeks. I think just having anything really that completely absorbs me and helps me learn something new is helping to keep me feeling upbeat and inspired. For the final page that I'll be creating in this video, I decided to document some of my current hobbies. And I love this washi tape from London Gifties. I thought it was perfect having the paint palette and strips of washi tape. And I'll of course leave a link to Christine's shop down below, along with a code you can use if you place an order. So I'm using that same brush pen to letter out the word hobbies at the top of my page. And this time I'm going to leave the background white. For the final page that I'll be creating in this video, I decided to document some of my current hobbies. And I love this washi tape from London Gifties. I thought it was perfect having the paint palette and strips of washi tape. And I'll of course leave a link to Christine's shop down below, along with a code you can use if you place an order. So I'm using that same brush pen to letter out the word hobbies at the top of my page. and this time I'm going to leave the background white. For my hobbies, I'm writing that I, of course, absolutely love journaling. I also enjoy any kind of papercraft and a wide range of art projects. I've recently started knitting, and my next project will be to learn crocheting. I've just recently signed up to a subscription with Molly Makes, and I think I'm getting my first magazine in February. So I'm really excited to see what kinds of different craft projects there are in there to help keep my brain whirring over and learning new things. So around the edge of this page, I just included a dashed line, and that made me think a little bit of sewing and tied in with some of the other projects that I have in mind. I really hope that you've enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that it gives you some ideas for some fun things that you could try out yourself. And I hope you're doing well and taking good care of yourself. If you did enjoy the video, it would be great if you'd leave it with a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. If you've got any questions or comments, then please do leave them down below. And as always, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's supporting me over on Patreon. It means the world to me, and I'm loving sharing different things with you there. I'll be back with you really soon in my next video.